Hello and welcome to another Limitless Hair Expert tutorial video. My name is Dino and today's subject is a limitless hair story with no ending, part 4. This is the last part of this story, okay? So it's very important because it transitions from a last invention into a very advanced invention. Where we last left off was the amazing jump in technology where they invented hair systems that was very big at the time when it was first invented, because there were hair systems that were able to add hair and keep hair on, where you swim with it and shower with it. So it was a big advancement at that time. But now to go a step further, just so everybody has clarity, there's multiple ways of attaching hair systems and also hair extensions. The hair systems, in quick review, were added with bonding. First with braids, then with bonding. And the braids caused traxation hair loss, and the bonding sort of smothered the hair. And they both had something in common. What they did, they caused additional hair loss, or they caused you to remove or lose hair to add hair. Now, I want to touch on extensions too. The extensions were happening at the same time, and they became very big. And then they started making different ways of doing extensions. All right, so some examples. They actually came up with tape-on extensions. This is sort of a track, all right? And the track had tape on it that you remove the backing of the tape, and you actually tape this on in between the hair. And they're still popular today. All right, so that was one way. Another common way, in addition to that, is this, and they were bonds. It's loose hair with a bond at the end, and the bond gets heated. First, the bond is hard now. There's a heating mechanism that takes the hard bond, softens it, so it can go around your hair and then hook onto your hair. And this is very common also. It's very common to call these a keratin bond. Keratin is the main protein of which your hair and nails are made out of. So they're saying this is keratin, but it's technically still a bond with just a little keratin in it. Okay, that's all it is. And then also they would have other extensions, which they would use an apparatus like this with little beads. And the beads would crush the little pieces of hair onto your own hair. Okay, that was another form of extensions. Then they would actually take other extensions and they would take tracks like this and other small little hair pieces that they called extensions, and they would put these clips in it, and they're very big, loud sounding clips, and they'd put this on it so you can manually do it yourself and take it off and on, okay? So there's all these different methods of hair extensions, but they all have the same thing in common, a common denominator, and that is all methods of adding hair cause additional hair loss. That's very important to understand, and most of the public realizes that. And when it comes to hair systems, hair units, hair processes, they're basically hair pieces of which go on top of your hair, and of which they shave your hair to put it on. So all these methods, the methods that were for hair replacement, for more or less severe hair loss, and all extensions, all have the same common denominator, and that is you lose more hair by adding hair. And now, my experience, I'm a hairdresser, putting hair on since 1975, a long time. And I did all of these methods. And I found these methods very fascinating, but there were downfalls. So I wanted to improve the downfalls. So they sort of led me into what I invented today, which is called InvisaBlend or hair stranding. And here's the key thing. There was one key point. There was actually 3, but the highest point was I needed to come up with a method of adding hair that was safe, that was healthy for your own hair. Because even though some people would trade that off and lose hair to add hair, I didn't want to do that. I knew the public would love to have a way of adding hair while keeping the existing hair safe and healthy. So that was my biggest point in reference to inventing InvisaBlend or hair stranding. There was a second point. I wanted it to feel like there's nothing there, because all these other methods, all the hair replacement systems, non-surgical, all the hair extensions, all the different methods, they had restrictions to them. So you can do certain things and certain things you couldn't do. And then also certain ways you move the hair, you'd see it. If you ran your hand in there, you'd feel it, okay? So the feel was important to me. So in addition to inventing something that was healthy, I needed to invent something that was also a nothingless feel. I always say as close as possible to nothing. Because if you don't feel anything, then you're more comfortable because you forget it's nothing but your own hair, okay? So then I leaned on that particular point. And then there was a third point too, and that was I wanted something universal. Here's what I mean by universal. All these other methods were for certain hair situations. So extensions, as an example, you couldn't put hair on top. You'd see it, okay? And hair replacement, you didn't do it to make your hair longer. It wouldn't make any sense. So as example, each of these different methods were for specific situations. I wanted to invent something that was more universal, that one method was good for any situation that exists on earth. So in summary, this is 3 points. I want something healthy. I want something that feels like there's nothing there. And number 3, I want something universal that's good for anybody. And that's what was invented. And it was invented due to this here, as you've seen before, the Micro Strand, which is very hard to see. The Micro Strand is very sheer. It disappears. This gets blended between your own hair. And when it gets blended between your own hair, it's healthy, it's safe, because when this is blended between your own hair, you have full 100% access to your scalp. All your scalp breathes. All your hair is used. That's what makes it safe and healthy. And then, of course, we use a microscopic tip instrument that feeds one hair at a time on this, that this becomes this here, okay? And that way, this is customized for you and blended in between your own hair. But then again, remember, it's healthy because you have 100% access to the scalp. You're using all of your hair, okay? And let's talk about the feel. The feel, obvious, when this is blended between your own hair, you can dig right down to the scalp. You can brush right down to the scalp. You don't feel anything at all, okay? And when you touch it, you don't feel anything at all. So the feel is next to feeling like there's nothing there at all, and therefore you forget about your hair. You want to walk around forgetting about your hair and just thinking, just my own hair. You don't want to be thinking about your hair. You want to completely forget about it. And the feel of being nothing there gives you that experience. And then I want to touch on one other thing in reference to attachment. We take, whether you can see this or not, we take a single microstrand, and there's a special attachment called Strand Locking that was invented to go with this. That's very revolutionary, because what's done with this is all we use is this single microstrand. We twined it around a few of your hairs, 7 or 8 hairs. It makes a little anchor, and this locks the finished product, this down. This locks this down in between your hair. So therefore, now it's secure, it's part of you, you can brush down the scalp, you could do anything with it. And here's the point of number 3, it's universal. This can be customized for literally any situation that exists on earth. So please don't think that this won't work for you, because this works on absolutely any situation that exists on earth. And that's the story on how I led up to inventing this. But as I call this story, it's a limitless story with no ending. Reason why? It's still in the beginning stages. There's not enough people that know about this. So we keep making videos to educate the public, to spread the videos around, so that way more and more people will know about this. Because still, as of today, people find out about it and go, why didn't I know about this? This is completely different. This is obviously much better than anything else. It's obviously revolutionary. So we want to get it out into the world more. And one way we do that is that we actually certify professionals and license professionals to do this. This is how we're able to get this out into the world, not only just the US, but into the world. And we do get calls from all different parts of the world. So that's why this story is said to have no ending, because we have to keep progressing by keep educating the industry, the professional industry, and the public at large about this advanced technology. So I hope that was very interesting to you, and I'll see you soon on the next video. Thank you.